Dear children, women have always been subjected to dominance in every society. Nowadays, in the modern era, we see that women have become CEOs and are working in every field. They are ahead in every field and are working shoulder to shoulder with men. But as in every society, in America also, women were once very much relegated to their houses and domestic duties and were heavily dominated and abused by their husbands and the patriarchal society. Today, we are going to do a poem by Adrienne Rich, who was one of America's foremost feminists and public intellectuals. Her earlier work was very exact and decorous, and the poem today that we are doing is also a part of her earlier work. Her later work then became more free in the form of free verse and also feminine content. Now this poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, represents a woman who is trapped with cultural constraints and responsibilities of a married life. She is also, it is not very clear, but she is also probably very much abused physically and mentally. The subject is Aunt Jennifer. It is written in the third person. Someone else is describing Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer's domination through marriage and her embroidery, her creative expression as the only way out for her, as the only means of expression of her desires. The theme is, of course, there are feminist concerns and the inner desire for freedom that every human being has, irrespective of gender. We'll do the structure and the literary devices later. First, let's read the poem. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers by Adrienne Rich. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Aunt Jennifer's fingers, fluttering through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go prancing, proud and unafraid. It's a short poem, 3 stanzas, 4 lines, and there are full stops after every second line. That is, the poem is very controlled, the structure is very formal, and there is a rhyme scheme, as you may have noticed. Screen, green, tree, certainty. So there's a rhyme scheme. A, B, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, F, F. We'll do the literary devices later. Let's do the summary of the poem first. This poem starts with a depiction of fearless, bright colored tigers in a green atmosphere, in a green forest. And there are some men sitting under the trees, but the tigers are not at all afraid of them. Now, the powerful and radiant tigers are shown by the words topaz and bright. And they are prancing around, that is, they move around in a chivalric certainty. The word chivalric here is very important because it shows that the lady has not been treated well in a chivalrous manner by the men and she expects the tiger to be chivalrous. There is a certain dignity with which the tigers are moving around. In the second stanza, we come to know that this scene is only a tapestry, an embroidery being woven by a very feeble and weak woman. How we come to know is, her reality is that she is very weak and enslaved. But how do we come to know as readers? We come to know it when she feels it hard even to pull the needle out of the wool. She is so scared that her fingers are fluttering. Why is that? She feels the physical and mental trauma of her wedding ring, which is symbolic of the abuse and dominance of her husband. She feels the ring's weight as so heavy that it does not let her do any work. And the only thing that she loves, embroidery, and the only means of her expression is also very difficult for her to carry out. She has actually lost all her freedom of expression due to the patriarchal society and her husband's wedding. Her wedding with her husband, who has been probably dominating her all his life and even abusing her. Then the third person, the poet, says that even her death cannot free her from her ordeals. She's so scared, she has been so badly conditioned with that abuse that she feels that even when she is dead, she won't be free of the weight of the marriage, the ring. And when aunt is dead, her hands will still be ringed, but her artwork, her hands will still be ringed means that she will still be imprisoned by the marriage and the society, but her artwork, the embroidery that she has made, will preserve. The tigers will roam around forever freely and in a dignified manner. And maybe she expresses her desire to be free and dignified like the tigers, but her only means of expression is this embroidery. Now, the poet uses very many literary devices. The main out of these are metaphor, the yellow stripes which are compared to the topaz color of the stone, the yellow stripes on the tiger, and then there is a contrast device used. She is a nervous lady. Aunt Jennifer is a very nervous lady, but she embroiders very confident tigers. So this is contrast. This is used to bring out how dominated she has been and how she has totally lost her expression. Her desire of freedom has been totally subterfuged. Now, there is also a paradox. An enslaved woman is creating free tigers. This is also again to highlight her pathetic situation. There is hyperbole, the wedding ring's weight. The wedding ring's weight actually will not be so significant, but by this hyperbole, we are made to realize how her marriage is weighing on her, how her marriage has destroyed her life, and how important it is for everyone to understand that marriage should not be a case of domination. Then there is alliteration to improve the sound, that is prancing proud, and also to understand that she wants her dignity to be restored and feel proud at least at death.